Hey everyone, Mr. Group Road here. This video lesson, we're going to talk about 3D modeling. We're going to answer three main questions. What actually is 3D modeling? How is it different from hand drawn? And, well, why is it better than doing hand drawing? And why should you be excited to be doing 3D modeling? With us today, we have a very special guest. That special guest is Granny. Granny, what's up?
Hi.
Oh, well, how you feeling today, Granny?
Me.
Hmm, interesting. Granny, when you were younger, did they have 3D modeling?
What's 3D modeling?
Okay, I guess not. We're going to learn about what that is today, Granny.
I don't.
Well, we're forcing you to. So, Granny, what would you say, just out of curiosity, when you were a seventh grader, how would you characterize yourself?
Sassy.
You said sassy? Well, not much has changed then, huh?
Hey.
So, ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look at a couple things here. This would be an example of hand-drawn, like a hand-drawn blueprint. We're pretty familiar with that. Drawn on paper, all kinds of tools involved. Gotta have straight lines, neat letters, dimensions, all that kind of stuff. And when we draw on paper, it's flat. There's only really two axes, or two dimensions. When we draw on paper, it's 2D. We can try and make things look 3D on paper, but it's usually kind of complicated and it's kind of tough, takes a lot of time. When we draw on paper, especially like grid paper, normal grid paper, it's 2D. So think back to your math class when you did these coordinate planes or axes. So two axes, the y, which is vertical, and then the x, which is horizontal. That's pretty much all we really do in terms of when we're drawing, when we're hand drawing. Granny, have you ever hand drawn before?
Oh yeah, did it all the time. I actually had a class in college when what I had to do is just learn how to write letters neatly for blueprints.
Wow, that sounds very boring and probably not something that's incredibly useful for today.
Yep.
So let's take a look at these pictures here. If we look at these coordinate planes for 2D drawing, on the computer we do 3D drawing or 3D modeling. 3D drawing, 3D modeling. So we have three axes. This time we still have the y. The y is our vertical plane still. We still have the x. That is our horizontal plane still. We're going to add one more dimension, our third axis, our third dimension, our third axis, and that is the z-axis. The z-axis is the depth. It's the in and out. So again, the y is the vertical, the up and down. The x is the horizontal, and the z is the in and out. So if I go like this with my fingers, this would be the y, this would be the x, and then if I go like that, that's going at your face, that's the z, right like that. This would be an example of a picture of something that's been 3D modeled, and this is an example from Autodesk Inventor. If we look here, it's kind of like an RC car suspension and so on. So it's kind of neat. The benefits of 3D modeling versus hand drawing. Just think about this. Imagine hand drawing all this. You'd have to, like, you really want to try and get it right on the first time, otherwise you get a big old eraser, lots of eraser marks, kind of frustrating. You really got to think it through in your head how things look and try and convert something in the real world that's 3D down to 2D on paper. That's kind of tricky for our brains to do. Also, like we kind of mentioned, it's kind of a pain to have to write so neatly, or just you need a really nice smooth surface or straight edge to then make really nice straight lines. And then think about this. Imagine you make this awesome hand-drawn blueprint for this thing, and then all of a sudden you realize you need to change something on the product that you designed. Well, usually what you have to do then is you either have to go back to that blueprint, erase stuff, change it up, or you have to make a whole new blueprint. It's kind of a pain. So with 3D modeling, there are tons of benefits that make it way more way better than hand drawing. One thing is it can actually save us time. Yes, it takes time to learn the program, but once we know it, we can actually save a lot of time by making things with 3D modeling. And yes, it might be a little more frustrating at first with 3D modeling when we're learning a program, But actually, the 3D modeling actually, once we understand it, should be less frustrating than having to draw super neat lines, sharpening your pencil, eraser marks, all that kind of stuff. Some other really neat things about 3D modeling is that we can multiply parts. Like we can just easily copy the file or place in a whole bunch of parts, those types of things. We can also make assemblies, make blueprints. One thing that's really neat about 3D modeling is we can actually make animations, make things spin around. We can also do tests. We can stress test things with our 3D modeling. So just to show you really quick, here's a couple examples of ways or programs, software we can use to do some 3D modeling. This is an example here called Tinkercad. This one's a little bit more simple, and we got different shapes here you put on there, you kind of add together, you kind of change the dimensions and so on. It's not super precise, but it is web-based, and it is something that you can use on like a Chromebook or something, or just anything really that has the internet, because it's just internet-based and you sign up for free. So you're welcome to use that, of course, at home. Here's the link. You can just pause here if you want to go to that at some point. Also, Sketchup, Google Sketchup or SketchUp is another one that's pretty popular. And again, you can pause here if you want that link to see more about it, whatever. And this is something that you can also, I can't remember if it's web-based. Looks like it says you got to download it. So I don't really remember. I don't really use that one. And then we are going to use Autodesk Inventor. And one thing that's really nice is you as a student, you can actually download this for free. It's a professional program, but you as a student, you can download it for free. And this is how you access it. So you can pause here if you'd like to do that at some point. And this is, of course, what our program looks like. Check that out, Granny. I made something for you.
What is it?
Oh, it's glasses. You didn't notice it was glasses?
What are you trying to say? I can't see?
I just thought maybe you'd like some glasses. They're kind of pretty, I thought.
I don't like magenta. I like periwinkle.
Well, fine then. Thanks, Granny. Hey, Granny, what's something you're good at? Why don't you tell us? What's your superpower? What's your superpower? What is something that you're just super awesome at that probably nobody can beat you at?
Staring contests.
Really? I'm pretty good at staring contests too. Ready? Go. Ah, you win. Wow. Well, thank you, Granny, for helping us out today. Greatly appreciate it.
Bleh.
Okay. Maybe, I don't know if Granny will ever join us again. She seemed a little crabby there. But anyway, that's the basics, the basics about 3D modeling. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. See ya.